So, hey girl,
Hey,
how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I cannot complain. It's Sunday. I done been to church. I done did my workout.
Mm,
Life is good.
it is.
Girl,
It's awesome.
I had to get back in there. Like, let me get
Mhm.
back in this just gym in this workout. I gotta do something. Cause when I can start seeing it on camera in my face, I'm like, oh, it's time.
Trust me, I've been exercising too. I'm like,
Gotta
gotta
get
do
it
them
together.
punches, them squats.
Like the older, and the older we get, it just reality stuff just shifts different.
It does.
And
It
I'm
does.
like, wait a minute, that's never been an issue. Where did
Hey,
that come
just
from?
put the work in.
So listen, guys, today we have an amazing show. I'm so excited to have Kecia on. We literally go back since I've been a teenager, like literally both of us been a teenager because apparently I turned 50 before you.
Did
So
you now?
I
Really?
did because you just celebrated your birthday, right?
That was last year.
Okay,
Last year.
wait a minute. So your birthday when you turned 50 last year?
Last year in November.
Oh, okay. So you're just a little older than me. I
Yeah.
turned 50 in April. I don't know
Okay.
why I thought I was older than you.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so we just having an amazing time. And today this show, when I tell you we are gonna go all the way there, we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
go all the way there.
Yeah, we're gonna be very
Because
transparent.
yes, because not only do we have the motivational speaker in the house, but we also have you are. I don't. I want to respect what you guys call it at your church. I know we say ministers or pastors or
I'm a servant. I'm telling you,
okay.
just, just Keisha, but I do have a title at my church, and my title is an elder. And I love something my pastor said. When they call you that, that title, that's a responsibility. So they're not,
Absolutely.
so when they say Elder Keisha, saying,
Hmm.
that perk up a little bit. They're not looking from Kiki from the block. They're not
No,
looking
seriously.
for fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we expected some things to shift and change when we call you elder.
Yes.
You hear me?
Right.
So your brother talking about. I don't know why you thought that either. Don't. Okay, I thought it. But here we go. So listen, we're gonna bring some fire. We got a good icebreaker to talk about today. So when we come back, guys, y'all be ready to answer some stuff.
Mhm.
Okay? So I forgot to prompt you on this, but
Mhm.
we're going all the way there. So when I say where are we going today,
Mhm.
you
All the
say
way
all the
there.
way there. All the way there. Okay.
Got
So where
it.
are we going today, Keisha?
All the way there.
All
Yes.
the way there.
Where are we going today? All the way there.
So
Mhm.
we're gonna do this icebreaker. And then we're gonna let Keisha introduce herself because we have some videos to play and I kind of want to dive into it. We kind of had a podcast already off the
Yeah.
grid, but you guys weren't there. So we still had to show up. So here we are. So
Mm.
Keisha, what did you say the podcast was gonna be?
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm sorry. What did you say the
Oh,
icebreaker was gonna
okay.
be?
Okay, where we're just
Yeah.
gonna pick, two game shows that that really inspire us to speak to us and why. What are your two favorites?
Okay. So my first game show is I love the what is it when Steve Harvey is doing it now?
Family Feud.
Family Feud. I love Family Feud. I always say that was a dumb answer, and if I was there, I would have a better answer. But I know that when you under the pressure, it's probably something different.
Right.
So that's one of my favorite shows. I don't like that they don't take home enough money for me to,
Right.
you got to split 20 grand between five people.
Right.
That's just ain't fair. Like I ain't showing up for that. But And another one was, believe it or not, it was Wheel of Fortune because once again, I thought I was so good at that show. And I used to be like, why would he spin? Like, just solve it.
Right.
So, what was yours?
You know what? You actually took mine. It is Family Feud. That was definitely one of mine because I know, like my family, if somebody give a wrong answer or give a dumb answer, we are not going to be saying good answer. We'll be looking at each other like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, because why you say that?
Uh-uh.
Right.
So that's definitely Family Feud. It's fun, and you're there with your family. So if you win 5 days in a row, then everybody can get 20,000. You just have to make sure that you have the people on there that can answer a question.
So now we got to really go through the family and say, because
Oh,
you
for sure.
don't be answering right on regular stuff, so you can't go.
Exactly. I'm picking my mama. My mama is going to be the first one to go. Okay, my mother is good.
Definitely.
So she's definitely going. My
My
mom's
mother was definitely going. Because
okay.
for one, she answered all the questions on Jeopardy, so I know she going.
Oh yeah, she's going. And I think my second one would be the weakest link. And this is so childish, okay? And that's because she is funny. And when they give a dumb answer, she's gonna have something funny to say. So there you go.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. So, I want you to introduce yourself and tell them about what you do, your life, your kids, all those amazing things.
Oh, geez. Okay, I'm just Keisha, and that's really like my tagline. My all of my social media is just Keisha M, and I am married. Been married for almost 30 years. It'll be 30 years this year. We've been through a whole lot of stuff. Okay, and we have 6 children, and
Okay.
we have like
6 children.
6 children. Four. I birthed 4 of the 6, but those are all my babies. 3 girls, 3 boys, and then we have like 6 godchildren, and we have 5. We have 5 grandchildren from our children,
Mm.
and we have 3 from our godchildren. So we have a big family.
You had a huge family. I know Christmas be fun over there.
Christmas is crazy. Okay,
I would love that. I would love that.
great time.
And then you got, first of all, if anybody who know this family, they had their hands in so many fires. I'm gonna tell you, if you ever need some resources for anything, they are the people to call. So I always make this joke that if it is ever an apocalypse, I'm teaming up with y'all family because y'all, y'all got the resources for everything, literally.
God is good. He's awesome.
Yes. So I mean, I don't care what y'all need. They're the family that you would need to check into.
We're very blessed.
So, so we're gonna start off, guys. We're gonna break this down in 4 segments, okay? And so we're gonna play her videos, which are amazing. Please go and check out her page, her Instagram, her TikTok, because you can share this to pretty much anybody. She gives straight core, hardcore information. And like I told her brother, I was like, you telling your sister all my business because I don't understand how she know all of this stuff.
He didn't.
I feel like I could relate. I could relate to a lot, especially just coming out of an extremely toxic situation. So they were kind of like right on time for me. But we're going to play this first video, guys, and then we're going to just kind of chat about them. And pretty much I'm going to let her have the floor. So hold on, guys. Just listen in.
The future you is dependent on the you right now to make great choices. Because if you don't make the great choices now, then the future better you will never exist. If you think about it, who you are right now is based on the choices you made in your past. So if you could go back and tell your former self to do things differently, I'm sure you would. But you have the opportunity right now to make those great choices so that future better you can exist.
That right there, when you said where you are right now is based on the choices that you made, it's so true. But if you are really transparent with yourself, it is really kind of like that little jab. Like, because if you feel like you should be further, think about some of the decisions you made.
Absolutely.
Oh my
Absolutely. And I
God.
know a lot of times we blame other people. And we have all these
Mm-hmm.
reasons why we're not where we want to be, or we're
Mm-hmm.
not where, and we don't realize that, the sum total of our actions make up where we are. It really does. I was like, my cousin was telling me about how she's a coach for the Special Olympics at U of M, and she
Okay.
went to Paris, for the Special Olympics, and she was talking about how there were literally, people swimming with no arms and no legs, like flying through the water. And that
Mm.
was so eye-opening for her. And I don't know if she knows this, but it really blessed me because it's
Mm-hmm.
that you don't have any excuses. It doesn't matter what, hand you were dealt with. Because some people say, I had a bad hand, I was dealt with a bad hand. Some people have a good hand, but it really doesn't matter. It's what you do with the hand that you've been dealt with. What
Mm.
are you doing with it? Because at the end of the day, we all have decisions and choices that we're making, and our actions and our decisions make up where we're going. It's the
Absolutely.
manifestation of where we are. And so here, somebody with no arms and no legs can say, I can't swim. They will have a legitimate, reason why they're
Right.
not swimming. Come on now. We have people with arms and legs that can't swim. But
Yeah.
they didn't let anything stop them. They said, this is what I'm going to do. And so they made some choices and some decisions that got them to be a swimmer in the Olympics, in the Special Olympics.
Mm.
So that's where that all came from, because I always hold myself accountable. And I know, like, I do a lot of
Absolutely.
self-reflecting. So when I'm looking at my situation, I'm identifying decisions that I made that caused me to be in the situations that I was in or that I am in. And I just like, okay, God, like, okay, so make different decisions and you'll be in a different.
Right. And you said something very important there is self-reflection
Mhm,
and accountability.
mhm,
And sometimes people avoid those things because they just want to put it off on somebody else. Well, if you had,
mhm,
then I
mhm.
could be doing something different.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
And it's not about everybody else.
it's not like it was like something God. I'm telling you, when I say God always deal with me about me,
Mm-hmm.
he deal with me about me. Okay. And so a lot of my videos, it'd be something that God really gave me, and like some things about me, or like me talking to my children. And so like God was showing me, like, even like with school, if you want, it's a lot of people that want to go to college. They say, I want to go to college. But you didn't go to class all year. You didn't go to class
Absolutely.
all year. You didn't do your homework, or you had 10 missing assignments every semester. And then you
Mm-hmm.
wonder why you can't get a scholarship to go to college.
Mm.
It's not your parents' fault. It's
It's
not
not
the teacher's fault. It's your fault because you didn't do your work. Because you got other people that
absolutely.
was in the same classroom with you and did their work and they got scholarships. So what action
Absolutely.
did you do that got you in the situation that you're in?
And I think that's why that is it makes so much sense, that decision making, because when you decide to stay somewhere too long or decide to put time into something that really don't deserve your time,
Mhm,
and life is just kind of passing you by,
mhm.
it's all because of the decisions that you make.
It is, yeah.
You want a better life, you make better decisions.
Better
How do
decision.
people get to better decisions though?
I really think that you have to have a personal relationship with God. See, we making a lot
Okay.
of decisions and we haven't asked God anything about it. These are
Okay.
we thought of in our own head, like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Not consider God at all when God wants to have a personal relationship with us. He literally said in his word, he said, I know the plans that I have for you. There are plans of good and not of evil, to give you
Mm.
a future and a hope. So if God knows the plans that he has for me, shouldn't I ask God, like, okay, well, what plans do you have for me?
Absolutely.
You lead and guide me in that direction so that I can be in your perfect will and perfect way. Because clearly God created everything from nothing. So
Mm-hmm.
surely he has me. So,
That makes me think of that saying, and I mean it's an old saying about staying in your lane.
mhm,
And when you go to God, so like sometimes people are just kind of like all over the place.
mhm,
And then you go to God and God is like, look, I've already, like you said, I have plans for you.
mhm,
I've already created this lane right here for you.
mhm,
And you all over there in a lane, and you're over there in a lane. And if you just follow this path,
mhm.
I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's already been paved.
Right.
You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So That's good. That's so
I mean,
good.
absolutely. It was like something that God showed me. It was like at any given time, we're making decisions, and the lane can go this way or the lane can go that way. And so we're making decisions, and we're not considering God. It was like, man, God
Mm,
literally is our GPS. And I remember one
absolutely.
time my niece was in this pageant, and I used my GPS because it was kind of like about a couple hours away. And I was
Hmm.
like, okay, the GPS took me like on a detour because I'm directionally
Hmm.
challenged. So the GPS told me what to do, and I just did it.
Oh,
And so my aunt, who said, okay, I know which way to go, she did not, she ignored the GPS. It's like, why
okay.
this way? This will be an easier way. Well, long story short, I got there in time to see my niece. By the time she got there, my niece had already gone on and she missed it. And that's a lot of times we do because we have our idea about what we need to do, and what we need to do and how we need to do it. And God is saying, no, don't go this way, go that
Go
way.
this way.
He may
That's
even
actually happened to me before too. That's happened to me before. That's why I'm laughing so hard because I was like, why she sending me back there? Like I know that I can get there this way, so I'm just gonna go this way. And I got caught in a traffic jam. And
Mhm,
so what the GPS was doing was trying to take me around the traffic.
mhm.
And I was thinking like, well, that's just stupid because I'm gonna go backwards. So
Right.
I'm just gonna go this way. But yeah, that's so true, and that is so good.
Yeah, that's
That is
how the Holy Spirit is like. I tried to tell you to go that way, but you want to do your own thing. So okay.
yeah. Okay. Well, be late
But let me
then.
tell you, I got to say, but one thing about it, God will reroute us and get us back on track if we're listening. He will reroute
Amen.
us and get us back on track. He said, okay, when you come back and said, all right, God, you know what? Let me do it your way. He said, okay, all right, you may go through some things. It's going to may take you a little bit longer because you got off track, but he'll get you right back on track.
I love that. Listen,
Mhm.
if you guys have any comments, please leave them in there. Any questions? We're going to play the next video. And some of these videos are not necessarily directly tied, but we just broke this up in segments so we can talk about all of this. So the next video, you guys be still. Hold on. Because I really like this one too.
Some people liked you better broken. And that's just facts. They liked you better when you were broken. And it's because they felt better about themselves when you were in your broken place. But when you got in your healed place, then they start feeling bad about themselves and looking at themselves. So then they start resenting you. But that's okay. They'll even tell you, you changed. I don't, something about you just changed. And you got to be like, yes, I did. I changed for the better. But you're so bitter that you can't see that I'm better. So bye.
I'm sorry, listen.
People, have you had to just be like, okay, look, we have absolutely nothing in common anymore. And people want to feel some kind of way about it. And it's not personal, but it is personal.
It is.
It's
It is.
personal for me,
Mhm.
but it's not personal against you.
Oh, no. That's why, and some of them I would say it's not about a person. The person may not be bad. They
Mm-hmm.
may not be a bad person, but when God is taking you to another level and you're growing and you're getting better in God, the people that you were with before, if they don't grow, they can't relate to you. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have anything in common anymore. And you have
Mm.
I don't know, this is something that, I don't know, this is something that has been in my spirit. He said, people will bring you down faster than you can bring them up.
Mm.
They will bring
That's
you down
real.
faster than you can bring them up, or they will hold you down while you're trying to pull them up. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to really be careful when you're growing and you're, growing in God and you're getting better, that you don't start dragging people along with you, because people feel better when you broken, because it makes them feel better about themselves when you're broken.
Absolutely.
They start
Absolutely.
feeling good. They was like, but then when you get healed and delivered and they start looking at, they start feeling bad about themselves. Like, okay, now they being around you, making them feel bad. So then they'll start throwing off on you. And
Yep.
you there's nothing wrong with you. It's nothing wrong with you. It's nothing wrong with you. It's something wrong with them.
It's something wrong with them. And it sometimes it, like I think you said this, it may point out sometimes their weak points.
Oh yeah.
Or sometimes they aren't ready to go there. So
Mm-hmm.
they like, you think you better than us. You think you
Mm-hmm.
doing this. It ain't that serious. You only live once.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, I like the old you. Well, the old me don't exist.
Right. They said that's okay. You can like whoever you want to like. I like the new me.
Exactly. And there's a script that, any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away.
And
and
behold, all things are
all
coming.
things become new.
Mhm.
So now I have to shake this off, because this life that we once knew together when we were riding and whatever,
Mhm.
my ride and die, whatever, however y'all want to call it, ride and live.
Mhm.
I don't subscribe to that anymore. So
Mhm.
our mindsets are not the same.
Right.
We have nothing that is tying us together. So when you start shaking off that old lifestyle and that, and I don't know about you, but even sometimes with people, like, I can go back and then you'll try to have conversations with these people, and
Mhm.
because you have changed so much, the conversations are kind of like, why are we talking about this? Like, I mean, I'm wasting my time. And it's I don't say that to the person to be negative, but in
Mhm.
my mind, I'm thinking, I literally have other stuff to do. Why are we talking about this? Like, because, girl, I'll talk to you later, and it's not being mean. It's just that that low vibration. Did you say that off the grid?
I did not.
Okay, well,
Well, actually, we did, because I talked about my pastor talked about bottom feeders, and
yes.
I'm saying you have the low vibrations and high vibrations. See, so
Mm-hmm.
whenever you're dealing with bottom feeders, and that's people that just they're just so earthly. They talk about a lot of nonsense. They want to talk about everybody. They want to gossip. They're just unhappy. They can't see that God is just really working in your life and what God is doing
Mm-hmm.
in your life. So when you're in praise and worship, that puts you on a higher vibration. But when you
Absolutely.
are like all negative, then you're on a lower vibration. So.
Mm-hmm. And then just the time consuming of some of the things that you could spend hours talking about. It's almost like once God is like recreating you,
Mhm.
it's kind of like, um girl, I can't relate no
Mm,
more. And I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm not trying to even judge where you are in life.
mm.
It's just that I don't connect with that anymore.
Absolutely. And
So,
sometimes we try to hold on to some friendships when God is
mhm.
taking us someplace and God is doing things in our life. Like I had this plant, and I mean, it was a big old beautiful plant, but a lot of it was dead. The plant,
Okay.
a lot of it was brown, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And it was like, I need to cut all this dead stuff off. Otherwise, it's going to kill the good, the good part of the plant. So
Mhm.
by the time I finished with that plant, when I tell you that little plant,
It was barely surviving.
I said, I'm cutting all this dead stuff because the dead part was killing the live part. And a
Yeah.
lot of times you're holding on to things that you need to cut off so that you can grow and be who God created you to be. But if you're holding on to that dead part is going to kill your good part. So you have to let
Mm.
it go so that way God can do what he want to do in your life. And so now I gave this plant a chance to be amazing. When I finished
A
cutting the
survivor.
it was skinny, but that plant looked so good. It was thriving. So the nutrients that it was actually getting from the sun and from the water can actually be a benefit, because before those nutrients I was giving it, it was going to the dead part.
Mm.
So you got to make sure that you're cutting off those people that's trying to hold on to you, because they will suck up your nutrients. What God trying to do in your life, they'll suck it up and it won't even be a benefit for you.
Girl, and they'll just be going on by their little
Go about
way.
your business. Mhm.
Like, what's your problem?
Mhm.
That makes me think of when my dad was changing his life. And I remember, all his buddies that he hung with, he was getting into the word, and they were just like, don't you when you come around, you just kill the mood type of thing. And my dad, like, so basically, he don't go around anymore.
Mhm.
But I look back at some of the ones that were talking to him about him.
Mhm.
Some of them actually changed because of him, because
Mhm.
they saw that, okay, he's serious. Like,
Mhm.
he ain't going out with us drinking no more. He ain't going out with us, like, he ain't hanging out after work no more. He going home to, pick his kids up from school and stuff. And
Mhm.
so they actually transformed. And it made me think of what you said off the grid. You're either going to pull them up or they're going to pull you down. And a lot of times they will pull you down before you pull them up, which
Mhm.
is why you have to separate
Mhm. Yeah.
yourself,
Mhm.
because you can't stay there. Otherwise, that old lifestyle, they're just going to be bringing you right back in.
It will, but you have to know that they're watching you too. And the
Absolutely.
enemy, they're watching you and they're looking to see how consistent you're going to be. They're looking to see, okay, is this just for a period of time, and they're going to revert back to the old person, which will give them a reason to say, see, this is why, you know, saying I don't like them Christians. I don't even want to be saved because they are fake and they phony. It doesn't work. But because your father was consistent, and he said, you know what, no, and they saw his lifestyle, because if they didn't see a change in his lifestyle, then they wouldn't have been drawn to the light. And a lot of times, you know, people they're not,
That's so good.
they're not getting away from you like your father. It wasn't about your father. It was the light that was offensive. So when you spend so much time in darkness, the light can be offensive. The more time you spend in darkness, the more offensive the light is. And more time you spend in the light, you spend in presence of God, the brighter your light is.
Absolutely.
So they like, you changed. Okay, no, that light is offensive. Right. So when they're ready to get right, because now they're watching him to see how consistent he is, and then they say, okay, so now I know who to go to because he's for real.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what happens too. Girl, that's so good. Listen, I mean, y'all, just like rose bushes, you have to prune that stuff. I was telling one of my girlfriends, she had this certain plant in her yard, and when she came over, because I don't know why they think I'm the plant whisperer, but anyway, I help the best way I can. Anyway, she said, well, it won't grow. And I said, well, do you ever prune it? And she said, well, what do you mean? I didn't think this had to be pruned. So I sent her pictures of how you have to prune it every year if you wanted to come back more strong and healthy. And she said, oh, I never knew that. And she said, all this time I was thinking that it was dying. I said, no, because you, like you said, are leaving the old stuff behind. So the next year when it's time to bloom, it can't bloom right, because what was there last year is still there. And she said, I didn't know that. So she'll be pruning it this year.
That's good. She's so spiritual too, because that's how God does us.
It is, isn't it?
We need to grow. When we going through those trials and them tribulations, we going through stuff, we like, ooh, that's a pruning. Child, I'm telling you, it doesn't feel good. I'm telling you, it doesn't feel good, but it's for your good. And it was like,
doesn't feel good.
Oh my gosh, I went through like a terrible season, like it's one of the worst seasons of my life, just a couple of years ago. And God kept telling me, it doesn't feel good, but it's for your good. It's for where I'm taking you. It doesn't feel good, but it's for your good. So, you know, it's not always how you go, you know, what you go through is how you go through. And I thank God that I have leaders that train and develop me, because if I had not been trained and developed, child, I would have been in the corner, sucking my thumb, crying, rocking back and forth somewhere. Okay.
Right. No, seriously.
Yeah, I would have. I would do some stuff. Okay. But God.
Girl, thank God for because I can relate to that. People get so mad when you are changing your life. They do. I think they're offended because for one, sometimes I think people look at you're leaving me.
Yeah.
You're leaving me behind. And now I feel like you're elevated. That's why sometimes when people say you think you all that, I always reply, and I know they probably think that I'm being funny, but no, you think I'm all that. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You think I'm all that. I mean, I am all that. But what I'm saying is, you think I'm all that, which is why you keep saying that.
And I think they think they're not all that, and so they feel bad because they feel like you are all that, and they want to be all that when they don't even know that God makes them all that too. Get in the
we are all that, but you need to tap in. You better tap in, get in where you fit in, because it's enough God for all of us. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So what Vern say? Cassie should have pruned Diddy.
Bless her heart.
Girl, boy, Cassie, we pray for her. She got her money, and she was deserving of it. So we gonna say this next video. Child, because I like this one too. I like all her videos, y'all, okay? Because I think she be reading my mail. So let's play this next one. Y'all hold tight, listen to the video, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, you have to really be careful about how you're handling women. I hear a lot of men talking about they can't find a good woman, and the truth of the matter is there are a lot of beautiful, great women out here, and they were good until they met you. You know, you don't realize how much power you have as a man when it comes to relationships. What you put in is what you're going to get out. If you put crazy in, then you're going to get crazy turned up about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 notches. And I'm just saying. So if you 30, 40, 50, 60, and you got 3 girlfriends, or you had, 5 relationships in the last 2 years, then the common denominator is you. It's not them that's crazy, it's you that's crazy. So take the time, get healed, Stop jumping from relationship to relationship. And if you're not ready to have an adult relationship, then don't be in an adult relationship.
What I love about that one is because so many times, and I'm not saying that women are not accountable, because we are. We have our place.
Absolutely.
But the way, because God created us to basically be adaptable to the man, they don't realize how much power they carry. So when you keep saying, "Oh, she crazy, she crazy, she crazy," what are you putting into it? I absolutely love that part, because I don't think that sometimes they take responsibility, or know, maybe they don't know that exactly what you said, what you put in is what you get out.
Yeah, because you have a lot of men who haven't been fathered, and they haven't been, well, I would say, properly fathered. They haven't been fathered by a real father. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of fathers that's missing in the home, and so they don't have an example of what a man is supposed to be, or a husband, or, you know what I'm saying, or somebody that's dating. They don't know. And so one of the things that men don't realize is that they're a thermostat. And the woman is the thermometer. She's going to adjust based on the whatever energy they come with. She's going to take that energy and she's going to adjust. She's going to adjust to that energy. Okay. So that's why this is what I told my sons. You're a thermostat. You're going to create the environment. I love how, like, my pastor talked about the environment. He creates the environment. He creates the environment at home. He creates the environment in the ministry. And then everyone else adapts to the environment that he creates, because he's the thermostat. A man in the home, you are a man in the relationship, he's a thermostat, which is why I said they put crazy in. You gonna get crazy turned up some notches. The woman gonna take the giver. The woman is the receiver. The man is the giver.
Absolutely.
Okay? You can look at the body parts, okay?
Right? That's the way he created us.
That's how he created us, okay? And so when if you are doing your part. And a lot of times we hold the woman accountable to a higher level of accountability, when it's really the man has to be held to the highest level of accountability, because he knows he has to be the one that creates the environment. So if you are, you know good and well, you've been with 5 different women in the last 2 years, okay? And you still messing around with them, and then you wondering why the one that you're with is acting crazy, because even if she can't have, know the evidence, she know it's something not right. So that's why she acting crazy. You know something not right, and you crazy. Okay, get yourself together, get healed, and stop jumping from relationship to relationship, because a lot of men jump from relationship to relationship to relationship, and then they don't realize that they putting deposits in all these relationships. They have a fly mentality.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you that they have a fly mentality. So you have bees and you have flies. A fly mentality. If you ever watched a fly finds what? The fly will identify some broken areas. And a lot of times, a fly mentality of a man, he identifying the broken areas in a woman, and that's what he's going after. Because you can even have, like, cattle, they can have a lesion on the cattle, and the fly will actually find the lesion, and that's what he wants to deposit in that lesion to eat that cattle up from the inside out. They want the pus part. Even if it got good part, they want that. They're going to exploit that bad part. And that's what a fly mentality of a man will do. He will exploit the parts that's broken in a woman, the parts that's insecure, those insecurities, he's going to exploit that. And then when the fly on its prey, the first thing it does, it's going to poop on its prey. Okay. And then it's ready to devour. Guess what it's going to do? It's going to throw up what it ate before when it get ready to devour its prey. And it's fine. A fly of a man, that's what he's doing. He's throwing off on her. He's making her feel bad about herself. He's, taking the part that where she was insecure. He's going to exploit that and make her even worse. He's going to eat her up alive. So you have to be careful as a woman to not to recognize a man with a fly mentality. And then if you actually recognize the bees, now bees on the other hand, the bee goes, it can be a field of a whole lot of carcasses, and it will identify that flower. A bee can recognize like thousands of scents of different flowers. And so he's going to be looking for that sweet thing in her. He's not looking for the part where I have all these insecurities. And then when he's landing on the flowers, he's depositing something good on there.
Yes.
He's going to pollinate. And everything that the bee does is to protect the queen. It's
absolutely
to protect the queen.
He's building the castle.
Exactly. So as a woman, you have to make sure that you are not attracting. You got to make sure you got to check yourself to see, okay, am I attracting a whole bunch of flies? Am I attracting a whole bunch of fly mentality men? and then get healed. So that way that fly mentality of a man won't even be attracted to you, because you're not even going to have the scent that he's looking for when you get
Yeah.
yourself healed. And then if you a fly mentality of a man, then you need to get yourself healed. And then you wondering why these women not, saying why it's not working out. It's because you identifying and looking for fly mentality. You identify
Exactly.
those areas that you can exploit. And you bypassing the queens, you're bypassing the flowers for something that you can exploit.
Because a lot of times that old saying, they go for the low hanging fruit because it's easy
Exactly.
and they know they don't have to put in too
Mhm,
much work.
mhm.
And sometimes they don't go for those queens because they know that they got to change and they know that they have to level up.
They don't even have a chance with the queen. They don't even
They
have.
don't have a chance. They
They
like,
don't
I'm
have
not even trying to work that hard.
they don't even have a chance with her.
Yes. And I remember a while back, I remember this guy literally just meeting me. He said, you seem like you are really high maintenance. And
Mm.
I'm like, nobody's ever told me that, but I mean, okay. And he was like, yeah, you just seem like you high maintenance. It seemed like I would have to do a lot.
When they
Okay.
clearly don't know you, okay, you're right. Clearly don't know you. Have it going on, so like
Now keep on,
absolutely
keep.
have it going on. Okay, what it is that you're secure in who you are, and that so somebody, it's not a lot of things he has to do. He just has to come to you correct. Okay, you
Yeah,
come to you like a plum nut. Okay.
just come correct. And
Mhm.
that be and fly thing reminded me of this post that I had posted that actually just came back up in my memories, which is so funny that you said that. And it said you cannot talk bee language with flies because flies like,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You just can't.
Absolutely.
Their language is not even the same.
Not even the same.
So
Not
we
even.
can't even talk the same. So that's really good because I do know that sometime I think that they just, how do I want to put this? If men tapped into God the way that they say that they're tapped into God,
Mhm,
then it will do a lot of explaining for
mhm,
them as to what the ideal man should look like.
mhm,
Even if we can go back to saying that there was no father in the home,
mhm,
God depicts a perfect picture
mhm,
of what a kingdom man should be representing, just
mhm.
like he do with the woman.
He does.
So, if
Mhm,
you want to figure out what am I supposed to be doing? And I'm talking about people who are really sincere about getting something that's real, not
mhm,
out here doing all the fly hopping. I'm
mhm,
talking about somebody who is really trying to be the beekeeper. You know
mhm.
what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta really put in the work and, like you
Mhm.
said, get healed
You do. And
because there's so many broken people keep
yeah.
trying to start over.
Mhm.
What were you about to say? I don't want you to lose that thought.
I was really gonna say you have to have an example. Okay, you
Mhm.
can read it in the Bible, but at the end of the day, you need a living example
Mhm.
of what a father is supposed to be, what a husband is, what a man of God is. You need a living example, and then you need to watch long enough to see the end of their conversation. You have
Yes.
to watch to see, okay, what has their faith gotten them? Okay, does their character match up with who they say they are? What I'm saying,
Mm.
consistently. What I'm saying,
That
when
part.
times are okay, when times are bad or things are rough, what is their character like? Because you got a lot
Mhm.
of people who can be married, but their character, you can see that the wife looked, she looked mad. She don't look
Mhm.
like she happy. He doesn't affirm her. He doesn't give her attention. It's not a model marriage. So, but when you watch and you have that model of a good marriage, then okay, let me see what they're doing. How are they communicating with one another? How are they good? They can give you the steps on how to have that good relationship. So that's what you
Mhm.
have to do. It's not just about reading in the text. You can read in the text, but if you don't have a living model, then you still gonna be amiss in some areas. I know
Yes.
my life changed when my parents were married, my grandparents were married, and yeah, what I'm saying, my grandparents, my grandmother and all of them, they were all married. But I'm gonna tell you, when I got my spiritual parents, their example changed my life.
Mhm.
Their example
Mhm.
changed my life because I was able to look and see some areas in my life that I need to change in. I was able to mark their perfect relationship. I was able to mark that and then use that as an example.
Mhm. And I so Jackie says, yes, the living example of both men and women are important. But here's the key.
Mhm.
You have to get around those people.
Mhm.
So if you just out here and just hoping that they're gonna fall in,
Mhm.
no, you have to go to these places where these people are. You
Right.
have to go to these trusted places. I mean, for you, like church,
Mhm.
so everybody don't have uncles who are living that life or
Mhm.
grandfathers who are living that life, but
Mhm.
you have to be intentional
Mhm.
about finding people who are living this life you are trying to live. And
Mhm.
a perfect example for me, like when I'm getting ready for a car, I go to the dealership
Mhm.
like 3 or 4 times and I'm driving a car. Literally to the point to where the dealership, I walked in one day and he was with the dealer was with a client,
Mhm.
salesman, and he literally said, "Oh, Miss Brentley, the keys are over there," because he knew I was coming back again to test drive it. He got my license already on deck. But I went because this is the motto. I want to
Mhm.
see if this is what I'm doing. I want to see
Mhm.
if this car is, because I went to go test drive a car that I had on my vision board, and this
Mhm.
car was like $100,000, right? And I finally went to go test drive it, and it felt like I was in a matchbox.
Mhm.
Okay, I was thinking like $100,000 for this, and I feel like the wind can carry me away. So you have to literally get into those places where those examples are, is
Mhm.
what I'm saying.
You know what I was
Um,
saying, what I was gonna say is that you know what? So when people want to get wet, I mean, you know, if you're looking to get wet with rain, the chances of you getting wet in Arizona is between slim and none.
Absolutely.
You want to get yourself in that environment where you can get the rain. So the environment
Absolutely.
you're gonna want to go to Seattle. So let me go to Seattle because I can get wet. If you want to be in a dry place, then you want to go to the desert. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times we're looking for things in the wrong places. So if you want to have a beautiful relationship, if you want, just like you were saying, get in that environment and stop
Mm-hmm.
looking for rain in Arizona or
Mm-hmm.
looking for rain in a desert because the chances of you getting rain is between slim and none. I mean, they're saying all
Absolutely.
chance it can get rain, but it's gonna be a long time before you get some rain.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm gonna just be transparent. For me, changing changing my whole outlook about myself and who I am. I started thinking about a lot of the people that I was kind of hanging around. Like they might not have publicly said it, but I knew what they were going through in their own personal lives.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking like, if I'm hanging with these people, and this is what they do,
Mhm.
and which marks it okay for me to do that, but I
Mhm.
know that this is not what I want.
Mhm.
Like like that scripture that says, "Tell me why I do what I don't want to do." You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Because you have to change who you are around.
Mhm.
Because now me hanging with you is literally okay and it's
Mhm.
solidifying. No, I'm trying to elevate up. So this is not the life I want. I don't want this type of a lifestyle.
Mhm.
So now I have to change my environment,
Exactly.
change the mindset, change people who are genuinely what they say they are. The
Mhm.
integrity and characteristics follow, you
Mhm.
know,
Right. Yeah.
not just looking on the outside of it.
Absolutely. Like you don't see billionaires hanging with, you know what I'm saying, broke, busted, and disgusted people. They're just not hanging with them. Okay. They don't have anything in
They don't.
common. They don't have anything in common. So why would they be angry? And you have to say that too. Okay. So if you're supposed to be a Christian and you're living a Christian, say, okay, I want to make sure that I'm living this Christian lifestyle, then why are your friends thoughts and strippers and all, you know what I'm saying? They out there doing it.
Absolutely.
No, you're not supposed to be doing as a Christian. Are you giving Christian a bad name?
Mm,
Are you giving Christian a bad name? Are you giving saved a bad name? So you just really have to make sure that you are making sure surrounding yourself. First of all, doing some self-reflecting, check yourself
absolutely.
and your desires, and then you check your friend group because generally your friend group, that's you.
That's
That's
you.
you. That's you. The people that you hang around. That's why I had to tell mine. I'm like, okay, if you look at your friends and what they're doing, that is you.
That is you.
Ah,
Hmm.
they doing that, but I don't. They all smoke weed and they all do this and they all do that, but I don't. Yes, you do. You do because
Absolutely.
that's why you identify with them because that's you.
And like that, oh, when people say, "Well, I don't really believe a bird of a feather flock together," technically you do. Even if even if you're not doing exactly what they do, you still share in that approval of
Yeah,
what they do, and
yeah,
that's
you
still the
identify.
same.
Yeah, Two can't
That's
walk together if they agree. So you two are identified. I don't. None one of my friends are thoughts. I don't have any friends. I don't have no friends that smoke, drink, do drugs, and party. None one of them.
now one.
Because we don't have anything in common. So why would I want to hang with you? God bless you. I'll pray for you and all of that. But no, I don't know. None of my friends are cheating on their husband. I don't have friends that's cheating on their husband. Okay. We don't have anything in common.
We don't have
So
nothing in
you really
common.
have to make sure that you are doing, like, again, that's self-reflecting. What is your friend group? Really be honest with yourself, because your friend group is you.
And I think that's important. Be
Mhm.
honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to do.
Mhm.
This last video, and we're gonna get into this one, and I think this was great for the last one.
Mhm.
So here we go. Everybody listen in.
There are two key things that you can do to be a better person and to have a better future. And the first thing is to forgive yourself. And I know sometimes that's very hard because, we've made some bad decisions in our past and we're living in that manifestation of those bad decisions. And so sometimes we'll think of like, man, what was the defining moment? Like what decision did I make? And sometimes we'll know the decision and the enemy will torment us. I know that for me, the enemy was tormenting me with some bad decisions that I made. And I felt like I deserved what I was experiencing. I felt like I was unworthy of God's love and God's mercy and God's grace. And it took me a long time and God working on me to tell me, no, he said he loves me and he loves you. And he said as soon as I asked for forgiveness, he forgave me.
That right there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people can relate to that
Mm-hmm.
because God say, I have forgiven you. I have placed whatever you've done in a sea of forgetfulness. But sometimes we hold on to it and we allow the enemy to torture us with that. Yeah. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, that one is definitely that was just in my private stash. It was just some different things that God, ministered to me, because I made a lot of mistakes, even in my youth. Like, even when I was talking about, like, with school, what I'm saying? Like, I was in school and had myself a great time in school.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, like, oh, okay, when it's time to go to college, I'm like, hey, I didn't get a full scholarship because I didn't do what I needed to do to get a full scholarship. Not that I didn't have the ability, I didn't do what I needed to do. So I made a lot of mistakes, like in my relationships, I made mistakes and different desires that I said I wanted. I literally said I wanted some things that God said, okay, I'm going to give it to you. So you have to really be careful about the things that you're asking God for,
Absolutely.
the things that you're praying for, because you could be praying for things that's outside of God's will. And so I was tormented. The enemy was literally tormenting me for many years about some bad choices that I made. Mm-hmm. And so when I was reaping the harvest and having some backlash from them choices, the enemy was telling me, reminding me of this bad choice that I made. Saying, this is why this is happening to you. You did this. You deserve this. And I'm like, and I could pray for somebody else. And, I couldn't forgive myself because I was tormented by my bad decisions. And God really had to work on me. He had to minister to me. And he said, I forgave you as soon as you asked for forgiveness. But that I have allowed the enemy to keep coming. This is what he was telling me. He said, you allowed the enemy to keep tormenting you about it. You need to tell the enemy to get off your back and tell him, no, that you are forgiven. You have to forgive yourself and pray for yourself. And one of the things that God helped me with is, like, even when I'm forgiving others, is to really pray for them. So I could really, he said, because then I realized that it's not the person. I can see the enemy when I'm actually praying for somebody, like really earnestly praying for them. And God said, you need to do that for you.
Absolutely.
Because I forgave you. I'm not holding you hostage to that. I cast that into the sea of forgiveness. But if you don't forgive yourself, then I can't help you. If you don't forgive yourself, you're holding on to things that I didn't have you to hold on to. You're holding on to the past, training you to the past, when I want to take you to your future. And you can't get to your future because you're chained to your past, because you allowed the enemy to get in your ear and tell you you're not worthy, when I said you're more than an overcomer. I said that you are worthy. I said that you are loved of me. I called you with a purpose and a plan for your life. So you can't let the enemy stop you from living out that plan and purpose. Don't let them do it. So then every time the enemy try to come up on me and tell me this is what you get because of what you did, I said, thank you, God, because he said, I'll turn those things that you did, even the things that you did, everything that the enemy meant for evil, he said, I'll turn it around and have it work together for your good. And he's going to use that to your glory. So God has used it used it for his glory. And God has used everything that I have been through, every bad decision that I made. God has already turned it around, and
Turned
he's
it.
using that thing for his glory.
And I think that is so the important part, that even the ugly parts of what we've been through, God is like, listen, we can make lemonade out of these sour lemons. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? We can make lemonade out of this. Like, something good can come from this. So my mom says you have to believe you have been forgiven. People see it in the word, but in many cases they don't believe it. And sometimes we just like you said before, we hold on to so many things, even with, I mean, and I'm even thinking for myself, just some things that I've said, this probably happened because the X, Y, and Z, and blah blah blah. I did this, and so I'm probably just still reaping the benefit, reaping that harvest of what I did. I sold this, and so it's coming back. But God is saying that I forgive you. And like you said, it is time for you to move forward. And I remember beating myself up so bad
Mm-hmm.
about this last situation, because it was so many signs and so many red flags. And I just remember feeling so down. Like, I literally put myself through this.
Mm-hmm.
But this message popped up in my news feed with the very next morning. And he said, Stephen Furtick, and y'all know I love me some Stephen Furtick. And in this message, he said, in this short clip that I know God put in my timeline, he said, even though it's your fault,
Mm-hmm.
I have forgiven you and we are moving forward anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
that was all I needed to
Mm-hmm.
shake that off, because I literally wanted to just cry, because I'm like, Lord, God hears everything, your thoughts. He
Mm-hmm.
hears what you're thinking. He hears how you feel. Even though it's your fault,
Mm-hmm.
we are moving forward anyway.
Yeah, and I think that, like even like what your mom was saying, that sometimes you can know that you've been forgiven,
Mhm.
but you still feel deserving of what you get. I
Mm.
think that's the part that people they struggle with, is that,
Yes.
okay, I know God forgave me, but you have to reap what you've sown. So then you have this sense of that you deserve to be treated like this. You deserve everything that you're getting. And God wants you to know that no, you're deserving of his, of his blessings. Saying, yeah, we're
Mm.
gonna reap that, but you don't reap, it's only for a season that you reap that.
Yes.
You don't reap
Yes.
that forever,
Right.
just for that season. Yeah, that happened. Okay, we're gonna move on. And it was something that this song called Dear Younger Me. Oh my gosh, when I
Mhm.
say I used to bawl, I would bawl every time I heard that song,
Okay.
because it reminded me, and it was saying that, saying, you're saying dear younger me, and it was like the song is as basically asking for forgiveness for all the bad decisions, you know,
Mm.
that they had made. And he said, man, if I could go back, this is what I would tell my younger self. And so, the whole moral of it is, don't allow the enemy to torment you for your
I
past.
love it.
You
Mhm.
cannot allow the enemy to torment you. And you just have to know who you are and whose you are in God, and know that everything that you've been through, God's going to use it for his glory. It's not, I tell my kids, I'm like, it's not about me right about now. It's so God can get the glory out of my life. So anything that you've been through, it's not about you right about now. It's sometimes you got to allow some things to happen so that he can use it to be a blessing to somebody else.
Absolutely. And then my thing is don't park there.
Mm-hmm.
Put that boy in drive
Mm-hmm. Keep it moving.
and keep it moving, because when you sit there and allow the enemy to just keep eating at you and eating at you,
Mm-hmm.
all of that time you're spending there, you
Mm-hmm.
could be out, for one, healing,
Mm-hmm.
making yourself better, and
Mm-hmm.
allowing God to use you in the
Mm-hmm.
way that he wants to use you.
Yeah, but it's
So,
your choice. It's your choice. I think it all boils down to, you have to make a decision and be intentional with your relationship with God. Saying,
mm,
you have to make that decision yourself and say, okay, God, I want your will above my own will. That's what from what I suffered. That's when I learned. And actually, my first lady, she was talking about. She's mentioned that. She said, man, she had learned to, like, okay, God, I want your will. I don't even want.
no, seriously. Okay, Keisha is frozen, but I want God's will. I only want God's will. She's frozen. Hopefully she'll pop back in. She might pop out before she pop back in. But guys, I just want you guys to all be reminded that God is a forgiving God. No matter what you've been through, you don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to be embarrassed. And I think sometimes, a lot of times, that is actually what holds us back from moving forward, which is also another trick of the enemy. Um, Holding you back with that shame and that embarrassment. But I mean, everybody in life has been through something, and everybody in life has a story to tell. So once you realize that the person sitting next to you, they don't live a better life than you live. They just live differently. I mean, my thing is we all have a story. We all have something we've been through. But every single thing that we've been through is designed to help somebody else that's going through that. So if you want to remember anything else, is just don't drown in your sorrows. Forgive yourself, move forward, and keep it moving. Hopefully she'll pop back in. So I'm going to create a challenge for everybody. And I think the challenge for this week is going to be look into yourself and see some things that you sincerely need to work on. Not pointing the finger at anybody else. Something that you sincerely need to work on for yourself, even if it's forgiving yourself, even if it's shaking off the shame, even if it's the expectations that we have for our life. Sometimes that can actually be very disappointing, but it doesn't mean that God plan is still not in motion. So now we just have to tap into what God plan is, and that's what I want you guys to do. It is coming down to the end of the show. I was really hoping we could say goodbye to her. Hopefully she'll pop back in. But this was an awesome show. I'm glad everybody who tapped in. And tell me you're gonna take the challenge. I want to know if you're gonna take the challenge for this week. Here she go.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Stuff happens. We're live. This is what happens when you're live. And when you're live, you get all type of stuff. Girl, one time my laptop crashed right in the middle of the podcast. And my guest was still on. I thought I had lost the whole show, but he was still on. And so my mom's like, Pastor, can you tell us something else while they were waiting for me to come back? But that's okay. But what I did say is I just reminded the people the challenge this time is going to just look at yourself. Find out some things that you need to change within yourself, not pointing the finger at the other person. And just not parking there being upset, being ashamed, because a lot of times the enemy use shame and embarrassment to hold us back too. So no shame. We're gonna drop all of that from being ashamed or whatever, and we're gonna move forward in God. So we got 30 seconds. Do you have a challenge for them?
Yes, I would say, you know what? Release your will to God's will. Work on your relationship with God. Just really do that prayer every day. Like, God, I want what you have for me more than what I want for myself. Let your desire for me be my desire for myself. When you start praying that prayer, then things gonna change.
And I love that too, because what it does is just removes you.
It does.
And I think I did say that too, because everything I think I want, God plan is still in motion. Sometimes we can get disappointed because I'm like, this is what Lord, I said I wanted this. And God is like, well, this is what I got over here. So that
way better than what you want to. It's
gonna be exactly
way better.
So thank you for coming on the podcast. We really appreciate you here. And everybody, we want you to have the most amazing week. I may see you guys next week. I'm not sure yet. But if I don't, this will be on a replay. But until then, love you. And I will talk to you guys later. Thank you, Kecia.
Thank you for having me. I had such a great time.
Okay, and don't hang up. Whatever you do, don't hang up.
Okay.